Okay, so you've learned the basics of English. You can hold a conversation, but are you speaking the right kind of English? Today, we're going to move beyond just grammar and vocab. We're going to figure out the perfect style for your specific goals, whether that's crushing a university exam, landing that dream job, or just connecting with people a whole lot better. Let's dive in. So let me ask you this. You can get your point across, sure, but is your language making the right impression? Could you be more effective? That's really the big question we're tackling today. Because, using the wrong style is kind of like showing up to a fancy dinner in your gym clothes. It just doesn't quite work. And think about this. With up to 2 billion English speakers around the globe, standing out isn't just about being understood anymore. It's about being effective. Nailing the right style of English isn't just a nice little bonus skill, it's your key to making a real impact. To help you figure this all out, here's our map for today. First, we'll figure out which English is right for you. Then we'll compare general and academic English head to head, and after that, we'll get into the specifics of business English. Then we'll show you how to find your current level, and you'll definitely want to stick around for the end because we've got a real, concrete action plan to help you level up your skills. All right, let's start with the two big ones, the paths most people take, general and academic English. The best way to think about them is like different tools in your toolkit, right? Each one is designed for a very specific job. So, on one side, you've got general English. This is your everyday language. It's all about building confidence so you can chat with people and get around. Then, on the other side, you have academic English. This is your tool for university, for research. It's all about being precise, structured, and thinking critically. Let's zoom in a bit on academic English. Honestly, you can think of it as the operating system for higher education. Its entire job is to help you handle really complex ideas, build logical arguments, and share what you've found with, absolute clarity. And what's so cool about this is how these skills all connect. It's not just about learning a bunch of big, fancy words. Nope. It's about mastering a whole system of communication that lets you jump into high-level discussions and actually add your own ideas to the conversation. Now, let's totally switch gears and look at the other side of the coin, general English. If academic English is the formal language of study, general English is the language that connects all of us and our day-to-day lives. It's what you use to order a coffee, hang out with friends, or find your way around a new city. These skills right here, they're the bedrock of literally all communication. We're talking about being able to speak and listen with confidence, knowing the words for everyday stuff, having clear pronunciation, and, of course, being able to write practical things like emails or texts. This is the English that gets you through the day. Okay, so we have the formal, structured world of academics and the practical, social world of general English. But what about the workplace? Well, that brings us to our third major category, business English. And here, it's all about precision and professionalism. So here's the secret sauce for business English. It's a balancing act. You need to be direct and get to the point, because time is money, right? But you also have to be polite and friendly to keep those good working relationships. It's this perfect blend of clarity and warmth. Let's see what that actually looks like. Okay, here's our first example. This is a little too casual. I finished my app. It's attached. It uses contractions. It's super informal. I mean, it gets the job done, but it might not sound very professional, especially if it's the first time you're talking to someone. Now, let's swing to the other extreme, the blunt tone. My completed application is attached below. Yikes. I mean, it's direct for sure, but it feels really cold, almost demanding. It's missing that friendly touch that actually builds good professional connections. And here we have it, the sweet spot. This is perfect. It's polite, professional, and totally clear. Little phrases like "thank you for your consideration" and "I look forward to your response," they seem small, but they make a huge difference in creating a positive, professional vibe. This is what you're aiming for. So how do you know where you actually stand in all of this? And how can you track your improvement? Well, to make this stuff more tangible, we can use a framework like the IELTS bands. They're a fantastic guide for seeing and hearing what each level of skill really sounds like. Let's start at what's called Band 4.5. At this level, someone can get their basic meaning across, but it often feels like a bit of a struggle. You'll hear really simple sentences, lots of pausing and hesitation, and quite a few mistakes that can sometimes make it hard to understand. And here's what that might sound like. The grammar's a bit off with "from meeting," and the whole conversation is just short and choppy. The basic information is exchanged, but there's no real flow, no real connection happening. Okay, now let's jump way up to a band 6.0. This is a huge leap forward. At this level, communication is so much more effective. The speaker is using a mix of sentence types, they speak more fluently, and they only make small mistakes that don't really get in the way of the meaning. Can you hear the difference? Wow, the sentences are complete, they're grammatically correct, there's a natural back and forth, the person even asks a clarifying question like, "What time were you thinking of?" and uses natural phrases like, "That works for me." This is what confident, effective communication sounds like. And now let's look at a really high level of skill, band 8.0. At this point, the language isn't just effective, it's flexible, it's natural. The speaker has a wide vocabulary, uses polite expressions without even thinking about it, and the whole conversation is just smooth. This is what polished professional communication sounds like. Did you catch those polite, indirect questions? I was wondering if you might have time. And would 3 o'clock be convenient for you? And phrases like, "What time did you have in mind?" Or, "That works perfectly." They show a huge degree of naturalness. The whole chat is just effortless. Okay, so seeing the different levels is one thing, but how do you actually get there? How do you climb that ladder? This final section is all about that. This is your action plan, real practical steps you can start taking today. Here is a super clear roadmap for you. To get from a 4.5 to a 5, just focus on the basics. Fix your grammar, speak in complete sentences. To get to a 6, start giving longer answers and use connecting words like because and however. To make that big jump to an 8, it's time to dive into real-world materials like videos and podcasts and really work on those polite, natural expressions. And to get to the very top, you're fine-tuning the details, precision, tone, and using idioms like a native speaker. And here's a great little hack to instantly sound more professional, especially when you're writing. Just swap some common, casual words for their more formal versions. It makes a huge difference. So instead of "get an email," you say "receive an email." Instead of "we need extra help," try "we require additional assistance." These tiny changes just elevate your whole tone. So there you have it. We've laid out the map. We've shown you the different paths, general, academic, and business, and the steps to move forward. The only question left is which path is yours and what's your first step going to be? Your journey to mastering the right English for you starts right now.